Hello there human, and welcome to the Proxima Universe Devlog 001. This is one of many devlogs that we plan to publish over the course of the upcoming months. We have handpicked the most interesting and amazing things for you, and we will highlight them in the upcoming minutes. In this stage of the project, we are focusing the most on feature and system iterations for the game. We're also working on all the amazing rendering systems that we will need. Whether they're part of our toolset for the upcoming mod SDK or they're used for the game itself. Keep in mind that everything you're seeing in this video is footage from the pre-alpha and is not a showcase of the final version of the game. Things might change or will be highly improved during later stages of development. What we are showing you today is only a glimpse of all the great things that we have worked on the past months, and we can't wait to show you all the other great things. In fact, we needed to take out half of the content because otherwise the video would have been too long. So stay tuned, the next devlog is right around the corner, human. While working on Proxima, we pay a lot of attention to the quality of our codebase. We had to do a lot of work in transition from the prototype stage to the pre-alpha, and one of the most challenging things was switching our server solution, which also led us to rewrite a major part of the game code in order to move the native UA4 application. However, the time we invested will turn to a lot of benefits. We had a lot of issues with our previous server provider, but now these issues are gone. The Unreal networking is powerful and secure, and the new server provider we got in contact with is giving us a great support and technical assistance. So from now on, we expect everything to be extremely smooth on this part. I guess you would agree, network performance, server stability and better protection from cheaters are very important for any multiplayer game, and we want our players to have the best possible experience while playing Proxima. We will continue expanding and polishing our codebase, which includes replacing prototype functionality which is based on Unreal Engine blueprints with a C++ code. By doing that, we not only intend to improve performance, stability, and security of the game, but also make a solid base for our upcoming mod SDK. But let's finish with all the technical stuff, and now we can finally talk about something more interesting. The cinematic trailer we have released in April this year was the result of around 3 months of work. All scenes from the trailer are made in real time in UE4. In the trailer, we wanted to highlight some of the most interesting game features, such as dynamic time of day, dynamic weather system, the large-scale open-world environment, but also let you all dive into the atmosphere of the game environments created utilizing modern rendering technologies available in the Unreal Engine. Pushing the limits of what's possible in real time, this is what we're trying to achieve with Proxima. But we will talk more about this later in this video. One thing to mention, we will release a benchmark for the game in the future, which is based on the scenes from the trailer, but also some additional new scenes. So stay tuned for news. We thought it would be great to give you a small breakdown of how we use procedural generation techniques for designing our terrain. For creating the landscape of our first map Haven, we used a software called Gaia, which features a set of physically accurate erosion algorithms that can be directed and combined in any way to achieve an extremely natural look. Within a relatively short time, we've been able to create a realistic looking terrain with mountains, hills, river channels, and a sea surrounding the island. On top of that, we generated maps to define spreading of all the biome that are present on Haven. All of that can be done in a matter of hours or minutes. We think it is very important to show you this as we plan to make a complete breakdown on how people can mod Proxima with the tools we use internally for development, which also includes terrain creation. We will release more details when the game becomes available for modding. Besides the terrain, we're using the same approach for populating the map with the foliage and environmental assets. Trees, ground plants, rocks, all of these can be placed automatically using the combination of Unreal's foliage tools and some additional algorithms, such as placement maps, which can be easily created in Photoshop. The more complex and diverse your procedural set is, the more natural look of environments you can get. In any case, this approach takes way less time than painting the foliage completely by hand, but allows to achieve nearly the same results. Here you can see what we've been able to do in a relatively short time, but this is just the beginning. We're planning to significantly increase the variety of foliage and add way more details to make the biomes of Haven look even more organic. However, this doesn't mean we want to bury the artistic approach completely and give all the work to the machine. No, it's just a question of using all powers of procedural generation before we can add stuff manually. We still have the ability to go in by hand, to paint materials and objects to make certain areas on the map look even more unique. But what about asset modeling? Sure, we use procedural approaches here as well. I mean, this is kinda obvious, isn't it? We worked in a software called SpeedTree, which allows us to randomly generate different variants of trees based on predefined sets of parameters. We designed multiple species of trees such as oaks, pines, maples, etc., and combined them to create different woods on Haven. During the development of Proxima, we invested a lot of effort into the creation of our own animation system. Our goal was to create a system that allows a smooth transition between first-person and third-person perspectives. We were not satisfied with the method that is used in many other games, where there are separate animation sets for FPP and TPP. First of all, this approach makes the animations look too simplified, led by the need to properly fit your arms and a weapon to the viewport. But we wanted the movement to feel more natural and realistic, so we designed a system that shares the same set of animations on both perspectives. In fact, the only thing that is changing is the position of the camera. Secondly, we wanted to avoid an issue with a slight difference between how your character appears to yourself and how others see you. Imagine you hide behind a rock and you think you're fully covered, but an enemy still can see the edge of your body. I think you would agree that this is crucial for multiplayer shooters, but happily we will not have such a problem in Proxima. And at last, we can save a lot of time and resources creating animations because our animation system supports seamless blending of animations created for specific body parts, such as reloading the weapon with the rest of the body. But of course, what you see is not final. We will continue working on our animation system to make it even better over time. Our next steps will be polishing and cleaning actual animations to make them combine together in the most appealing and natural way, but also improving the transitions between different movement states. And finally, let's talk about gameplay. We are actively working on the first game mode called Terra Control. At this point of development, we're focusing more on developing stable and optimized in-game systems, rather than on visual representation of things. Having a solid, highly polished and flexible codebase means we can iterate more features in smaller amounts of time and minimize bugs and issues. And we achieved quite a good progress on this over the course of the past weeks and months. One of these systems we worked on is the ability system, one of the core pillars of Proxima. We will have 3 character classes, Gunner, Mechanic and Protector, and each of them will have a set of multiple unique abilities, so making them work smoothly, being balanced and intuitive during the gameplay is very crucial. The first ability we created to test our ability system in action is the Barrier, which will be available for the Protector class. The Barrier can be spawned to protect you and your teammates from damage. It can be destroyed by the enemy, fire or grenades. Another feature we implemented is a shop where you will be able to buy weapons and other equipment while in the game. The UI is currently very basic, but as I already said, our main goal at this point is to assure that everything works smoothly and is properly replicated over the network. In a technical environment of Terra control, it will be very important to know the positioning of your teammates, so we implemented the highlight effect that will outline your teammates when they are hidden from sight. By the way, we are continuously testing the game internally with our voluntary QA team to assure that whenever we open the gates for the alpha, everything is polished and properly working. We prototyped a small test map in order to test how movement and gunplay will work in an environment where the space is limited and the number of encounters and fights is raised to the maximum. We received a lot of positive feedback during the test. By the way, if you want to join our QA team, you can apply by a link in the description. Right now, this team consists of 30 people, but we will triple the size of the team the following weeks and months in order to be able to test the Terra Control game mode with full teams. This is it for this devlog. We hope you enjoyed it. We still have a lot of stuff to show you in the upcoming devlogs. So make sure to join our Discord to become a part of our community. Also, support our Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign to get guaranteed access to the upcoming closed alpha. All links are available in the description of this video. So stay tuned and see you in the upcoming devlog.